Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bobby Waldron and welcome to another inbox review video here. Here we have the Hasegawa Lightning II B version US Marine Corps. This is 1/72nd scale. Really sort of nice cool kit. It was new tooled in around about 2018, but don't mix this up with the, I think it was the A version. Hasegawa did do one and that was released new tooled in 2014. They are very sort of similar, but this is actually a new tool version for the B version because you got all sorts of, you know, the vertical takeoff and all sorts of different things on there. Right, so let's just take a look inside. We'll jump straight in with this kit. Right, it is 1/72nd scale, bear in mind. So just to sort of start off, we have our actual surface detail. As you can see, I'll put a little bit of a wash on here just so you can see more clearly what kind of surface detail we're up against. I am seeing a really sort of nice crisp recessed panel line detail. Not seeing much rivet detail at all on this, but as you can see, it is quite packed with the detail, and you can also see, you know, the cockpit's not in here, which it is on the A version of the 2014 release. We do have this, the vertical takeoff engine. I'm not sure exactly what it's all called and everything, but actually not looking too bad. Quite nice smooth surface detail as well, but let's just quickly move along. We have the bottom part of the section, same level of surface detail pretty much all over the kit. We have a nice bit of detail inside here for our engine exhaust, as well as, you know, not bad detail as well with our wheel wells, which, as you can see, we got pipes in there, even buttons and stuff, all sorts of little bits and bobs in there, even some more detail for these wheel wells just there. We do have our engine detail here as well, which does kind of build into a nice sort of rotating engine, because the rear engine sort of is straight out, but then it can sort of twist and turn to kind of then give us sort of vertical thrust. We've got that as well. As you can see, a little bit of detail there, and the engine as well. As you can see, we've got that sort of cool futuristic kind of teeth going on as well. A little bit of engine sort of, I don't know, maybe exhaust or something there. Moving along, detail wise in the cockpit section here, hopefully as you can see, we do have a little bit of detail. We can see buttons and whatnot. It is kind of light, but you know, do remember it is 1/72nd. We do have our wheels just here, our actual landing gear, sorry, which looking at this, I'm not seeing, or am I? Yes, I mean there is. I'm seeing one ejector pin mark there actually on our landing gear. There's another one there. Flash actually isn't bad throughout this kit. We do have a wheel here, which again I'm seeing ejector pin mark either side. You will find actually with this kit the ejector pin marks aren't the best. I mean, I would have thought Hasegawa would have learned that by now, but they haven't. We've got some more detail going on here. Again, you know, sadly, more ejector pin marks. Just to kind of throw this out here, we have our air intake. It's looking a bit rough. We've got ejector pin marks in there, so if you want to be able to see there in that air intake, you're gonna have to do some filling and sanding there. Sadly, wheel well doors, as you can see here, I'm seeing on this one here, I'm seeing, what's that, about 6 ejector pin marks, tiny ejector pin marks just on there. You might be able to see that if I rotate it in the light, and I'm pretty much seeing them on all doors and all sorts of stuff going on there. So that's a bit of a shame, because that's a lot of detail. Well, actually, I'm not really seeing much detail on the doors either, so I suppose sanding it down isn't going to be so bad. But then, yeah, I mean, we've got all sorts of little bits of surface detail, pretty much the same as we've already seen, right? And then we've got a couple more sprues just in here. I don't think I'll get them all out, but here's the pilot, right? Which the pilot, actually, you know, there is a fair bit of detail on here. We have got him with his helmet on, with that new sort of modern helmet. You know, he's not looking too bad, little bit flashy but not too bad. I do like all this really sort of teeth work, as you can sort of see here. It does look quite sort of smart going along all the way across there, and a couple of little sort of, you know, ailerons and flaps and slats. Then we have some more cockpit detail. Here's the instrument display panel, looking very sort of plain, but I do believe you do get some nice decals in here which do sort of liven that up. Ejector seats, again, sort of a little bit plain. Detail could be a bit better. We do have our actual canopy section here, which we'll just get this out. Normally very good from Hasegawa, but just looking at it, yeah, I mean, that's pretty sort of spot on, really. Maybe a bit of a polish, a little bit of a scuff there with the packaging, but a little bit of a polish. You could polish that out. Should be absolutely fine, no problems with that. You do get this really sort of cool stand that you can have with it if you so wish, which then brings us to all our decals and all that goody stuff. Now, I do like the fact with these decals, right, I have seen in the past where these F-35s, do you know this pattern here, all this lots of grey pattern and stuff that you sort of see on there? Some kits have actually had them raised, but this one I do like, because the kit does come with the actual decals, so you don't have to go through, as you can see if we sort of look at some of these, you know, to go off and sort of mask that up and spray that pattern on there is a nightmare, a big off-put. So really good to have these as decals. Just down here we do have our instrument display panel bits on decals, which should liven that up because it is quite plain, but not looking too bad with all the decals. Very sort of nicely colourful registry, not sort of out of place or anything. As a Hasegawa, normally sort of you need to come in there with some sort of the big guns with the Decals solutions, but you know, you can sort of get there in the end. So the instructions, we do have this fold out set of instructions. I personally don't like, but you know, they still do them, so some people must like it. We do start off with let's maybe bring you in a little bit closer. Well, we do start off with getting our air intake sorted and getting that together, bringing the sort of the cockpit together, and it pretty much does look like it's going to be sort of quite easy. And then we just slap together the two halves of the fuselage and the wing section all together in one. Shouldn't be any sort of fit problems, hopefully, with that. Then, you know, it's all your sort of bits and bobs with like tails, ailerons, flaps, all that goodie. Then you've got all your landing gear up or down. It is kind of nice that we do get some sort of good options with this, because it has that vertical takeoff, and we can sort of have it in that position, or we can have it on the ground, sort of not in that vertical takeoff position, i.e. the engines are facing down, you know, or you can have it in flight display. So you know, kind of a lot of nice options to go on there. Not seeing potentially any major difficulties with it. The actual paint scheme and the decals, you've got to kind of study them a bit. They sort of kind of ram it all in here. But if you do study it, it does sort of start to make clear. We do have our actual colour scheme here, which tells you what all the colours are, and then we do have the decal inside of it, which they do try, and what they're basically doing is I'm trying to cram two types of markings into one sort of piece just here. So this is actually two sets of markings they're trying to cram into one, so you've got to look out for where it does sort of say markings 1 or markings 2. It will have a different number for the different decals to put down. Makes it a little bit confusing, but it does look like it does get you there in the end. So all in all, it's a new tool, 2018. It is around about the 30-35 pound mark, so not a bad price for a 1/72nd scale jet. Surface detail does look good, should fit pretty well for a Hasegawa. The decals do look good. It does let itself down a little bit with how many ejector pin marks are in bad places. There are quite a few, little bit off-putting, but you know, you can get away with it. A bit of hard work into there and it should still look good. So all in all, I'm going to say it's you know, it's still a big thumbs up. It makes me want to build one at least. Just watch out for those ejector pin marks, which is probably the biggest problem. Maybe lacking a little bit of detail, but it is 1/72nd scale. So yeah, I'm going to give it a big thumbs up, and hopefully you have enjoyed this in-box review. So until next time, my name is Bob Waldron, this is Genesis Models, and I'll catch you later.